to provide.
All right, test. Mic's good. Get the music going. How you guys doing in the chat? What's up? Should be good. Audio there. That's there. Oh, cool. Let me check. Twitter is live. We're good there. And YouTube's good. We're not dropping frames. All right. Welcome to the weekly Whale Watch. This is your dude Runner. Back at it. Sorry, guys. I've been sick and then on the holidays as well, but we're back at it. I still got a little bit of a cough, so bear with me. But per the usual, we're going to hang out here for an hour or so. And then we're going to go look at charts, look what the markets are doing, see what do we do with the rest of this year? What are our New Year's resolutions? Do we dump it all and call it over for the 4-year cycle? Or we say QE's coming? We'll see, guys. But we're going to take a look at a lot of stuff, look at a lot of funny stuff, a lot of fun stuff, charts, whales, you name it. But at any point you're curious why on earth charts look like they do, check us out at rainbowtrends.com. You can go find out all the data stuff there. We just transferred the website over to a new hosting facility, so very excited to see that it's still running because that was really scary. What's up, Pepe? What's up, Seedale? Yeah, I had to get on the phone call today with the web devs, and they had me transfer a bunch of stuff and set it up, and I honestly have no idea what just happened when we did it all, but everything ran smoothly, knock on wood. But everything goes down, that's probably why. But we're going to hang out for an hour, and then we're going to go head over to the Rainbow Trends Discord server. If you need to find out where the Discord server, the link's always at the top, and you can join there. It's no paywalls Discord. And we're going to go hang out there for the rest of the night after we hop off the stream. But if you guys want to show charts, ask questions, you name it, we're going to go off up in there. But let's get going. And let's see where we're at. So starting things off, this is kind of the vibes right now. Needless to say. We keep kind of bouncing at some lows, and then we get into resistance, and it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Into resistance, but where's the markets at? The markets are actually pretty crazy this week. We almost printed a new all-time high today, and we got a basis cut this week. So first thing, we check in on the administration to see what they're doing. One of the biggest things is Trump is saying if the market goes up, we should encourage it to go up more. That's where we're at with this. We got a cut this week. New Fed chairs coming in a few months. We're going to see some major cuts there. The current Fed group's not really projecting too much of a cut going into how much more we're going to get into 2026. But yeah, that's where we're at with it. Markets are going to be fun, needless to say. Now, one of the other things that was kind of interesting, another comment from Trump. But you guys remember, you guys can hate the administrations on both sides, but we pay attention a lot to what they do and what they say. We got some really crazy entries off what he said about tariffs and try to enact. We got some insane entries on the S&P 500. So we're going to check up on that in a little bit. But in general, like, we have to pay attention to this stuff. If he's talking about, he's hearing that the appointment of the Fed chair was by auto pin and he's just going to revoke them and put in whoever he wants, we may get massive rate cuts before Jerome's actually scheduled to leave. We'll see. I don't think so, but anyway, if you don't follow Feja, I don't know how to say his name, but he's really cool. Oh, look, Indies follows him. What's up, Indies? Indies, Freddie Miles. I want to. No, not doxing the Freddie Miles. I'll leave it at that. But other things, world events, what's going on? Apparently, U.S. forces are seizing oil tankers, and this straight up looks like a Call of Duty game. And I saw this reposted, and I thought this was absolutely funny. Do you know how fun this probably is? And it's true. Hopping off on an oil tanker, off a helicopter, full tactical gear's got to be a blast. But yeah, apparently America's invading Venezuela for some reason. I don't know. Just, I guess we're gonna blame it on drug running and sanctioned oil, I think is what they're gonna pitch this one as. Maduro's bad, apparently. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of wars, you guys know, and escalating this while we're trying to wrap up the Ukraine-Russia conflict's not my favorite things. But happy you're here, happy you're in the chat. And like I said, we're streaming on YouTube and Twitter, as long as the frames don't drop out. Been messing with a lot of the internet stuff this week, but everything's looking good. But moving forward, where are we at? Let's look at oil. Oil's $58 a barrel. We're, depending on where you are, shout out to our California bros whose gas is never cheap, but I'm going to turn that off. The whale prints are messing up on dailies because the volume's messed up on the data. It's not our problem. But in general, we're at $58 a barrel. Doppel's starting to bull pulse oil. Maybe it's over. We'll see. Pretty big downtrend here, but in general, man, prices at the pump are getting super low. Really, really low. Flirting with sub $2 in some areas, getting pretty close to it. I don't know if we'll actually ever see that, but it's getting kind of close. But in general, we're trying to see what this does. Just for your knowledge, in the United States, most of the operators, they can't do much below $60 a barrel. A lot of them struggle, just their overhead cost of all the stuff. If you've ever seen a floating production platform offshore, it's a living city with like over 50,000 horsepower of diesel engines running. That stuff's not cheap, and they usually do it in water that's over a mile deep, trying to get high pressure oil. So, is what it is. But this maybe we're bottom. I'm not really playing a lot of oil stuff right now, but I am paying attention to it, especially if we're United States is invading one of the most rich oil fields in the world, or at least in South America. But we'll see. But like I said, this was a big week. This is a big week. We had a lot of FOMC stuff. And Dime has marked himself safe from the most important FOMC of our lives until the next one, which is, it's the general thing. Everybody gets so hyped up. It's FOMC day. It's FOMC day. It's blah, 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 blah. And it's either going to be 0, 25, 50, or 50. That's really all it's ever going to be. We got to chill out, but it's rates are coming down, and that's what everyone's been screaming for. But the truth be told is, we get the rate cuts, and people are still bearish. I don't know. They say the rate's way too high, but Man, look at this chart. This is the S&P 500. I don't have my labels. Let me fix that. Let me fix the watermark. I was doing a lot of technical documentation recently, and where's the watermark, guys? Canvas, background, grid lines, text. Where's the watermark? I forget where they put it. Solid, vertical, bridge. Help me out, chat. Lines, navigation, top, symbol. Somewhere in here. Oh well, we'll fix it later. Anyway, S&P 500, that's what we're looking at. And the one thing I want to point out to you guys is we're printing like basically all-time highs with high rates. So people have been screaming that the rates are too high and it's keeping the market down. The market's not down. The market's crazy high. We had this slight disrupt for a while on the tariffs. And we've got Michael, what's his name? The guy from The Big Short. Mike, is it a Michael? Yeah, Michael Burry. Michael Burry's bear posting and talking about how all this stuff's going to come to an end. We'll see. Maybe it is an AI bubble crash. We'll talk about some of the AI stuff later this week or later in the show. But the thing to focus on is Rainbow Theory traders went absolutely ham on this dip here on the tariffs. We plotted out, hey, this is a trajectory. These are really the levels we can get to versus can't get to. Let's start buying in, and we bid a lot of this. I think I got, I'm not going to talk specific numbers, but a very large chunk in here. I wish I'd have got more. And then we've promptly bounced and just printing all-time highs, all-time highs. We had this slight downtrend here, and that's when you saw Michael Burry start bull posting and then close his fund, which is the weirdest thing ever because he started getting cocky about it and then shut down his fund, which is weird. Anyway, it's kind of a weird dude, is what it is, but, I mean, I think I'm over 30% on the spot entries on very, very large size. Yeah, we're like 30%. From the tip, it's like 40, is it 43? Yeah, 43%, but I didn't get this. I DCA'd into it and then bought a little here on the way up, so my DCA came up a little bit, but when in doubt, do the opposite of Michael Saylor, buy the lows, sell the highs. But yeah, we're looking at a very large bounce here. This is like 40% move on the S&P, and nobody wanted to buy this. So do the opposite. Buy pain, make gain, chase the whales, chase the rainbows. The thing is, guys, is just it wasn't rocket science. We knew tariffs were going to shake everything up. The market doesn't like instability. Trump is the king of unstable comments and trying to make people try to always get him to, like, in his interviews, they try to make him say like something definitive. And they'll be like, oh, you would never shoot a puppy, and he'd be like, we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it. We're looking at all options. He'll never like say no and calm people down. He wants instability, and I believe it's a negotiation tactic he uses, whether you like it or hate it. But we knew this was going to go down and eventually bounce, and we marked like I forgot what the levels were. I've had to erase this because I've had to do some technical documentation lately. But we looked at like Great Depression level pullbacks, and we pit our zones. And long story short, tariffs started resolving. People realized that he can't just run this down to zero and do 10,000% tariffs on every country, even the uninhabited ones, which was absolutely hilarious. But it is here, and we've bounced, and it's awesome. But it's one of those things where, like, we planned it, we watched it print, and we bam. There's a lot, like, this was the thing we watched after the big Tesla nuke. So anyway, update. Yeah, there's your round trip update of what we did with Rainbow Theory on the S&P 500, watching what these tariffs do. I know I cover a lot of what Trump says, but it matters. This was a lot of money in profits for a lot of people, including myself. So we pay attention to that, and that's why it matters. I know some people just cannot stand him. I get it. People can't stand the previous administration. I get it. But their actions move this. And whatever the S&P does, dude, crypto markets follow and everything else follows. But moving on. Good news today. Do Kwon has been sentenced to 15 years. If you guys don't remember, this is the guy behind Luna, which was one of the greatest crypto scams of all time. And it had a huge pump of all things this week. This is actually like kind of a Rainbow Trends yin-yang trade where we've gone from whites and reds all the way up to pinks and cyans, which is just nuts. But let's zoom out and you can see what we're actually talking about. So, yeah, it was up here at like $76. Now it's 100,000ths of a penny. I can't even. And that's with logarithmic on. If I turn on regular, it's... Oof. It literally kind of went to zero. Damn near went negative is how low that went. And, I don't know, settings... Pepe Cinco's coming in. Settings, canvas, and enabling the watermark. There it is. I have mine zeroed out. There we go. We get a little bit of watermark so you guys can see what I'm looking at. All right, so Luna 3-day. This thing like literally went to zero. I don't even know why people are still trading this, but because there's news, it was like when we used to watch FTT when there was FTX developments with Sam Bankman-Fried going to jail. You would see the FTT pump or dump, and regardless. But dear God, there cannot be liquidity on this. At least I would hope. But anyway, moving on. Hope you guys are doing well. So remember when we used to toot our own horns that Bitcoin flipped silver? Since then, silver's doubled the market cap over Bitcoin. So look at that. No comment from Crypto Paradigm, I'm sure. His cats are doing well, and they're no more dry food for them because, dear Lord, gold or silver is going absolutely parabolic. I think it actually hit $64 today. Yeah, $64 per ounce. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a metals guy. Oh, it's not all-time high. I'm sorry. Or no, it is. It is. Let me put this on freaking weekly. Yeah, this thing's rocking, dudes. So, yeah, we gotta watch it. It's something that's happening that normally doesn't happen. Gold too. Gold's breaking out again. Yeah, this is awesome. Gold's gonna rip. This is bam, 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 and then it's going. We'll see. I mean, maybe it stops back again at $4,400 an ounce, but this is just absolutely ridiculous. It's to the point now. I actually look at stuff like jewelry. I have like sitting in a safe or something, and I'm like, I don't really wear jewelry at all. Maybe I get rid of this and don't care and sell it because over $4,000 an ounce is crazy. If you don't see this, this is reaccumulation. There's your creek jump, spring, whatever, and here's your SOS, and then gone. Yes, hindsight, I'm sure we're talking, but anyway, moving on. This is day 9 of me reminding you that Runner is in it for the tech and only the tech. Bitcoin After Dark. So, in an interesting development with Bitcoin ETFs, there's a new filing for an ETF that will only hold Bitcoin at nighttime. Buying it when the U.S. market closes and selling it when it opens. Amazing tech. Amazing. But since we're talking Bitcoin, let's look at the chart. Let me look at this. Let me switch this over to Bitcoin so we can take a look at that. Yeah. In general, ETH and Bitcoin really follow the same buy pattern from the Coinbase versus Binance tool. Typically. Sometimes you'll see Ethereum walk away with different divergences, but in general, I try to keep them on the actual asset that I'm watching. Now, one thing I need to remind you guys, I'm very, very, very busy in the back end. I'm updating a lot of Rainbow Trend stuff. So if you guys actually see like your tools quit working or see that they're like disabled, it's because we're publishing new versions of it and you need to remove the tools from your chart. Save the chart, Control S, or refresh it or whatever, and then re-add the tools, and you'll see them. You'll see the new ones there. So we're doing a lot of work on the back end. It's boring stuff, so I'm not tooting about it yet, but it's taking way too many hours, unfortunately. But we're just about done, and you're gonna start seeing a lot of the republishing stuff. So much love and support for all the dudes who've helped along the way. But here we go. Bitcoin chart, absolutely wild, right? Blah blah blah. We thought this was the hardest thing to chart, and then it took off, and that actually kind of looks like the gold weekly chart. But we're here, all-time high, down, recovered, all-time highs, but we failed this damn pivot. We can't get through it, and it's not the funnest thing in the world. Let me draw another one, because I want to draw that to the right, horizontal ray, bam. Swing, fail, and then we really fell through here. And this is, what was it? October 10th is when we had the Binance issue that we still don't know everything about. Allegedly, Wintermute got really, really pissed. On this one, I'm not really sure. Still haven't heard what's going on, but we do know there was a lot of bodies and a lot of people got screwed because literally some of the altcoins went to literally zero on some of the major exchanges. And I'm talking like altcoins that are in the top 50 alts. I'm not talking about things with $10,000 worth of liquidity. We're talking about stuff that's like multi-billion-dollar assets. Went to zero. Flash crashed. So, whew, good luck. Hope you survived that. But so far, we continued the nuke until we actually hit the reversion bands here. And I'm going to make those reversion bands a little brighter. No, hold on. Where is it? I'm sorry. Machine, smooth this. There it is. The band transparency adjuster. Yeah, I want to make these a little brighter, so I'm going to crank that up. So if you've seen it, in general, we haven't touched this reversion band in a very long time. I think we haven't touched it since the yen carry trade fell out. Yeah, that's the yen carry trade that blew out, and we caught that wick way back in the day. It's now touched again with some little bit longer durations. It wasn't as big as a flash crash. It actually went and did damage for a little bit. You saw a huge blowout here on this tool, on the Coinbase versus Binance tool. But it's come back up. It has recovered this order block that we marked out from this, and I get you, this is a nasty chart. This one was nasty. It had 2 freaking creek jumps in it. I don't know of any Wyckoff charts that have 2 creeks, but dude, we caught it, and then we had a knife catch, capitulation catch, then up and out, right? Welcome to the friggin' show. This one is really weird. I don't know schematic-wise. The only thing is I know where the levels are, so I can gauge some of my sentiment on what's happening based on how things are reacting. We absolutely shot through this level. This one here, the 92,000 to like 90,000, didn't even slow down. Not even slow down at all. Shot right through it, but then we bounced up, and now we're like climbing above it. So last time we did this, we went to an all-time high. Now, the thing is, you keep pushing down as you keep knocking stuff down. Eventually, you're going to go down, right? Now, as there debates, is the market over? We'll see. That remains to be seen. But timing-wise, we're out of time on the 4-year cycle for the most part on our projections. Q4 is bullish. We still haven't really seen it yet. Regardless, timing-wise, you need to check yourself. But reclaiming support, I'm always bullish on that. So short-term wise, this is looking pretty good. I'm happy with where we're at. Reminder, though, MicroStrategy's DCA right now is currently $74,000. So they almost touched Sailor, which correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I don't think we've ever had Sailor's DCA touched, ever. Short of, like, Binance flash crashing to zero for 0.2 milliseconds or something like that. But in general, I don't think we've ever touched it. And he's right here. We got pretty close. So on that October 10th crash, you got within 10% of them, which is kind of interesting. Now, in my general take, you can't touch Sailor. He's got facilities to where he doesn't, like, MicroStrategy doesn't just blow up if you get below that number. That's not my belief, albeit I'm not a lawyer. And this is not financial advice. This stream is intended for educational purposes only, as always the case. Because this is clearly an art stream. But in general, I don't think you can kill Sailor. But we're going to look at the MicroStrategy chart in a second because it is nasty. But quick reminder, if you're here, thanks again. Thanks for showing back up. It's Thursday night, hanging with the crew. Like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way on the YouTube algos, and it takes a lot of work to do these. We've got like 20 gigs of RAM right now running just to do slides, so it's fun. Anyway, moving on. MicroStrategies. MicroStrategies is doing one of those setups where it's either going to go to zero or it's actually going to bounce. So I don't think Sailor's touchable. And if we look at this on high time frames, like in the dailies, the dude's hit white candles in the reversion bands, and like we haven't seen this since 2022. Now, we very well may be here and we just keep going and it's down, and that's the full bear market. There's your 4-year cycle. Bob's your uncle. Maybe that's what that is, and it's going to come down here and then come back, and we restart the cycle again, and we can start looking at when the next halvening is, right? I hope that's not the case. But whales have pushed this thing so deep, it's likely going to react, and so far it has partially reacted. Somebody has stepped in and finally woke up a bull and says, that's enough. I'm at least going to start adding here. Whether it's the bottom or it's close to the bottom remains to be seen. But we can tell someone started buying here deep in the bands when these colors started rotating from white out. The next thing we want to do is start seeing red candles and see a pull up out of this reversion band in general. The way this rainbow theory stuff works, you can't just stay in this band. First off, the band will move if you keep staying in it. Right now, they're touching it and it's pulling down deeper. But essentially, bears cannot sustain this type of move. It's just not possible for very, very long. I say very, very long. We're on daily candles here, right? And this is MicroStrategies. It's slow, but it's not like they can spend 2 months in here. Like, that's just not a thing. Even when you look back at the old times, even when we were bleeding, you hit this and bounce out. Hit this, bounce, hit, bounce. It eventually pops back out, and the bulls kind of swing the trade to the other side. We often refer to that as yin-yang. Go look at the Rainbow Trends Discord and type in like yin, and you'll see a whole bunch of charts where there's like yin-yang trade setups where basically we buy white candles in the red and we try to touch the green band on the other side because eventually they pop. So in general, not 100% of the time, but man, is it high odds that they'll eventually happen. It's like what we saw in the beginning, the Luna chart. Let me just show it to you real quick again. Go to 4 hour. It's not going to show it because this is garbage data from that exchange, whichever one it is. We'll go to the real exchange. Yeah. There you go. White candles deep, pink candles on the other side. That's what we're looking for. So anyway, moving on. Another thing, quantitative easing is kind of here. All previous Bitcoin peaks happened during periods of strong QA liquidity, but 2025 is different. Today, the main drivers are ETFs, stables, and AI, not money printing. Looking at history, in the first month after QA begins, markets usually show a pullback or sideways movement. So, QA's here, rate cuts are here. Is it super bullish? Historically, kind of. Not really. We'll see. Another thing, Bitcoin targets have been moving. JPM saying 170, VanEck 180, 250. Kathy Wood's coming in at 2 million. Sailor saying 1 million. Jamath is saying 500K. It's fun. But there are some bull news here. As sad as those sound and as kind of the QE stuff, meh. Yeah, so CFTC acting chair just announced the launch of a pilot program that will allow Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC to be used as collateral in U.S. derivative markets, along with new guidance on how tokenized assets, including treasuries and money markets, can be da-da-da-da-da. Crypto is going to be able to use for leverage derivatives, which is that's going to be fantastic. Why is it going to be fantastic? Because it means people can go to the casino in size in a trusted environment, which is going to be... Is it a good thing? Is it healthy? Do I think you should go bet all your hardly earned Bitcoin in the U.S. derivative markets? No, I don't. I definitely don't. So be careful with that. It's not good. But it's good for the market in general because it means there can be liquidity and people can gamble. When people gamble and they leverage up, Bitcoin tends to go parabolic. At least that's what it's done in the past 10 years. What's up, Illa? Illa wants to take a look at URA. We'll take a look at URA. Give me 1 second. So we're looking at Shiny Rocks again. That's finally something. So we're looking at some of the daily. I don't trade uranium stuff, but in general, this looks a lot like the old school or the NVIDIA charts on 4 hour. But yeah, just like uranium, just like all stocks, just like all assets, you can't just stay in this band forever. And so far, uranium, since Trump decided he was going to go really hard on it, it's been up only since, what was it, May? Yeah, April. It was April and May. I think May is when he made the announcement. And since then, it's been up only, basically. But essentially, they've gone too hard. It finally had to reset. at some point when you burn, like when I say burn, these are too hot colors, too high with too many RSIs. That's another second run. It has to cool off, and it either has to cool off sideways or it has to have some type of like pullback, because there's like a yin yang balance between the bulls and the bears, right? So it's pulled back and corrected some, so it's definitely set up to where it could go for another round of sustained runs. But that's really, we haven't seen red candles in what, 6 months? Yeah, over 6 months. So you also have to, so the other thing is right, I'm telling you, like, it could go up, it could go down, be careful, right? It sounds stupid to say that. The other thing to say is it's gone on an absolute tear, right? And you have to be cognizant of that. What that means is there's a lot of altitude here. There's this big gap of stuff that hasn't been retested. So I don't think uranium is just going to nosedive, because remember, we're in it for the tech. We're in it for the splitting of the atoms, right? But it's you have this, and that's considerable, and it's worth paying attention to, not to just say, oh, it's guaranteed it's going to go back up, and go up to like 70, right? We don't know that, but you have to watch it, because, man, when stuff just rips, I really am scared, because I've seen charts do that and then take off again. And like I said, I don't think this is going to happen. It's not like we're going to find out this is Luna and this has a Do Kwon behind uranium, but you could have another reset where this thing touches the red bands, and if you're at $48 and it comes down to like 37, that's going to really suck. But anyway, good question. Appreciate, because I did not have a uranium chart, so it's good. Let me see where we're at. So that's with that one. So Dime is very scared, as you can tell. Why? Because we're looking at like the Bitcoin halving tracker, and if you look at this data, this is a great chart to watch. This is comparing the 4-year cycles and where they peak out, and pretty much we're in uncharted territories if we try to do an all-time high past the 600 days, and that's just the reality of this. So either we're done 4-year cycle type stuff, or 4-year cycles don't matter and it's all based on liquidity. We'll see. Here's our old Mayer multiple chart with our projections for the end of the year. You can see these are the two windows we had for like the all-time high calls. It's a whole bunch of other tutorial videos on all this from way back in the day where I map out, hey, based on the happenings, these are where we peak out historically. Let's project that forward, and these are the things we're looking at. And right now we were 108 was our timing. That's awesome. Anyway, we're in the yellow bands on the Mayer multiple, which is not great. And I honestly don't think we're going to hit the 2.0 standard deviation by the end of the year. I just don't think that's possible. Hold on, is this on? Why is it not updated? Something's going on in the data. Let me switch it over to... I just realized I'm looking at like the November data. Yeah. We're way past. There we are. I'll have to go back and fix that chart. I don't know why it's not updating. That's the one I drew all my stuff on, so I'm really upset. But anyway... Oh man, if I have to transfer all this crap over, it's going to suck. But anyway, we're actually down in the green. End of year, we're down to a few weeks. No matter how you spin it. So it's not looking good. Mayer multiple wise, the target is actually starting to come down, but we're looking at like 220 to hit the 2.0, which every other cycle has hit this red band. Every other 4-year cycle has touched that red band. We have not seen it this cycle. This chart doesn't go back too far, but in general, we've always touched it and we haven't. So maybe we actually are talking about the 4-year cycle breaking and we peak late and it comes in 2026. Maybe. I don't like saying that or projecting it, but that's what would have to happen. Other thing, checking in on our guy Josh, Carpe Noctem. He's actually pointed out too, Ethereum has looking the heavy favorite. And if you guys have noticed, or if you've noticed on just like the BTC USD, or not the BTC, the USDT pair, it has been somewhat resilient compared to Bitcoin and some of the other stuff. Especially when you consider it compared to like Solana. Now, looking at this chart here, this has been our goated Rainbow Trends Ethereum daily chart that we've been charting forever. We actually called the freaking bottom here, which is insane because everyone thought it was dead. With a crazy rally, rolled over on the colors, and we pulled back. Now, we talked about it. There's the mid-range order resistance block, and it's testing it. Dudes, it tested it, and it held it, and it's reversing. So, Bitcoin looking like it's running out of time. Ethereum actually looks like it bled out, found support, and it's coming back. And we have Coinbase coming back with a premium here on the dailies. It's setting up. So when I look at the charts, one of the big things is I look at four things. Every day I watch four things. I watch the Bitcoin chart, I watch the Ethereum chart, I watch Solana, and I watch the S&P 500. Those four things give me kind of a general read of the markets. For better or for worse. And sometimes Ethereum is way easier to read than Bitcoin. Sometimes Solana is way easier to read than Bitcoin, right? Sometimes the S&P is easy to read. It just all depends. But in general, on high time frames, if Ethereum's printing a bottom, Bitcoin tends to print a bottom. And right now, this was the easier one to read. Bitcoin's in a real weird limbo. Looks like it's reclaiming resistance, right? But it went below resistance. Ethereum tagged it, swept it, reclaimed it with a higher low, and it's moving up. Ethereum's not something that normally just shows resilience and strength, and it's showing resilience and strength. So keep that in mind. This is the chart I'm paying more attention to than Bitcoin. And if we're bouncing off this one, you've seen how much reaction we've had to this price level this whole time. It was support here, bam, resistance, resistance, bam. Interactions here, resistance and support, resistance, 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 it's acting as support again. So if we're doing the macro turn, 4,000's back on the table. Like, that's kind of the next target we're going. And if we get through that, dude, we're looking at the 5,000 touch challenge. I don't know if we're, like I said, it looks like we're running out of time on Bitcoin, right? So am I going to say, yeah, I'm going to call for 5K Ethereum? It sucks. But in general, this downtrend has broken, and Rainbow Theory supported levels held, and we have Coinbase bulls back online. So it's looking like we could be moving back up. Well, we are moving back up. There's no way of saying it. Now, we very well may come back and tag this again and then go, right? We can keep testing this. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Maybe we invade Canada tomorrow. Who knows? But right now, it looks like it's turning, and I know that's the next level I need to watch. So we're looking for the 4,100, essentially, is what the target would be. So if we're looking at the total move, which you're not going to catch the total move. That's a 50% swing. Really want to catch the mid-range of that. It's like 30. It's a lot of moving on Ethereum. But anyway, moving on. So if you look at this, DoorDash actually dropped a... you saved $7,100 in fees this year. So apparently this was actually a Say Labs engineer, which is crazy. So thanks, Jay, for posting that one, saying that's actually... Say is apparently just DoorDashing the hell out of all the orders for the Say team, who's busy coding away. But Jay, if you could stay away from the OTC desk, it'd be much appreciated. Say's not looking so good, but it is hitting macro levels again here at like the 13 cents. Maybe that's a bottom. We'll see. I really want to see some good stuff from the team other than selling. Anyway, moving on. DoorDash, though, same thing. We haven't seen DoorDash touch the reversion band since October of 2022, right? Gigantic pull down, right? But you're seeing the first signs of weaknesses. You're seeing a teleportation here. Earnings were dog poo. Almost said it out loud. Let me adjust that. And in general, though, this is me showing you guys, if you like a stock and you see reversion bands getting touched on the daily, make a step out with some love. And high time frame, you normally do pretty good. But we'll see. Moving on. So I like the Solana charts a lot, but Base is posting about Solana, which is scaring the crap out of me because that may kill my Solana chart. And you guys just got to know, Jesse Pollack scares me. A lot of stuff he tries to push doesn't work. Now, this has been our Rainbow Theory chart cheat codes for Solana for since December of 2023. This chart has hit, and it has hit hard. And it's real simple. There's a resistance order block and a support order block. That's it. And it tends to just keep working over and over. And for what it's worth, Solana was the easiest chart to read for quite a while. Why? It hit this support order block. I don't think this is my real chart. So give me 1 second. I want to double check something. I have two streaming layouts, for better or for worse. I apologize. Yep, I'm sorry. This is the better chart. I want to show you this one. This is our cheat chart. This one's a little better because it breaks the upper resistance into two levels, the main level and then kind of a higher FU level. We have support here on the support order block. Rocket science, right? You'd never guess how we named the support order block the support block, right? Anyway, moving on. The thing what I'm saying here is we're coming back down to a resistance level which has held since December of 2023, and the colors are rotating and we're pulling out of the bands. There's a very good risk to reward here that this is somewhere printing a bottom, and then we are going to revisit $200 per Solana. That's a good place to be, because if Solana reverses, remember, Solana is not an up-only chart. For the past 2 years, it's been going sideways. And if, do we want to call it like, is this the last creek? Is that the, I don't know. I don't see it. But anyway, I always got to challenge myself there. We're looking at going from 136 to 200 is the next anticipated move on Solana, which is a 50% run on spot on one of the biggest assets in the world. So we got to keep an eye on it, because if Solana wants to keep going, Ethereum comes back up, we retest Ethereum at 5,000, we break Solana through 270. Dear God, are we setting up for a Q1, Q2 bull run into 2026? Maybe. I don't know. It's weird timing-wise, but so far the charts aren't just nuking and dying. They very well may just start doing this, but we haven't seen it yet. And if everything, like, if Ethereum is turning up, and Solana's turning up, and then Bitcoin's reclaiming resistance, and then we got the three major players going up only, and then the S&P breaks 7,000. Spoiler alert, it's bullish. So we have to play it out. Anyway, moving on. This is, since we talked about Solana, or Base, pointing out Coinbase, we got to look at the Coinbase charts. Coinbase bled out, bounced, and hit. In general, though, this is what I was trying to warn you earlier, guys, and this is in the chart. You get a touch in the reversion bands, and you get a slight pop, touch, pop, and then it finally reverses. So when you see this first one, I always get real skittish to see if it'll pop and then go back forward, go down before it finally pops. A lot of times you just hit this and it's gone, right? Now what you do is you get exposure when it's really bleeding out. And for this one, there wasn't really like a bomb wick that went deep. But in general, you try to catch these and you get a, normally you'll get a little bounce, right? And if you can get the bounce, you can get your entry, and then you get a little bit of a bounce, and then you can stop loss your entry at like break even, and then it's just a free roll of the dice. If it comes back down, breaks your stop loss break even, catch number two, try to catch this one, get a little bounce, stop loss break even, wait for it, and maybe it goes, and if it doesn't, break through, catch it again. You know, you can keep catching this and get really, really nice exposure to a volatile asset and protect yourself accordingly. So that's kind of the trick to these knife catches. I'll get real nasty with these if they're real sharp and fast, and I'll get a little bit of a pop. And as soon as I get that pop, I start putting in like my stop losses. Then I'll move it up, you know, and then eventually my stop loss is at a place where it's break even. So I can't lose, right? So at that point, you know, what, I don't lose any sleep at night with any of this stuff, right? Just make sure you're trading accordingly. But remember, it's this time of the holidays. Your mom's going to text you. Are you bringing a girl to Christmas this year? No. I'm watching What's the Future of Base with Jesse Pollack, obviously. Now, moving on to one of the CEOs I really like, RJ Scarnage, engineer number one at Rivian. They actually had a really cool reveal this week, and it's clearly R2D2 colors, and it's freaking awesome, and I love it. You check out, it's even got a single blue spoke. It's cool. I'm a Rivian fan, if you can't tell. If you don't remember, your boy Jintao and myself did a stream a few weeks ago, which was awesome, and much appreciated, Jintao. But the thing I will remind you guys, I had to pull it because I had to edit it, and it took me forever to edit it during the holidays. But if you go back and check on the Rainbow Trends YouTube channel, it is there now. So you can go watch the actual Rivian interview with Jintao. But thanks again, Jintao. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, dude, RJ Scarnage dropped it, and they actually revealed that they've got an AI chip that they're going to be working on so that they're not going to rely on NVIDIA. So it's going to be interesting. And it was kind of funny because Jintao was talking about it was he was saying it's a tech company, it's an AI company. It's not a car company. And then today they drop that chip, and it's proven true. Checking the Rivian chart, for some reason it nuked again today. We haven't got a top signal yet on the daily runner bot, which we normally see on the macro highs, but in general, we want to talk Rainbow Theory cheat codes. Look at Rivian on the daily. What's up, Vulture? Vulture's a good dude. In general, Rainbows and Rivian go together very, very well. Why? They tend to reverse on that green band. So I made it a little less transparent so you guys can see it, but you can see the chart. In general, we can touch it, but we can't stay in it, right? You can briefly visit, but you can't stay there. And that's what we're seeing here. So, especially if you get pink candles, get out. So we'll see. But the one thing you guys also need to notice is, look, this is the low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Bam, 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 bam. It's getting bought up. I don't think you're getting Rivian below $12 anymore, my guys. It's at 16. So, are we looking at the half pipe? That is the question. Let's put this bad boy on regular. And let me turn off the reversion bands. Remove drawings. Let me get rid of Mali pivots. Don't tell Malifestro. Let me get rid of pivots. All right. Is that the half pipe? Because if it is, dear God. I don't know about you, but these type of returns are nuts. We've seen other charts do this. Rivian's not dead. Doesn't look like it's dying. Scarnage looks like he's got his crap together. It's going to be interesting. And we keep getting higher lows. Ugh. Maybe it's not something we kind of swing trade anymore. Maybe it's time to lock in. But, speaking of AI, moving on. Something really happened interesting at one of these Tesla events. They had an issue with one of the autonomous robots. And someone pointed out, it actually looks like it's being teleoperated, and the operator took off his headset. Now, everything I've heard and read is that these things are AI controlled. They're not puppeteered by a human. Now, that Neo one that they showed coming into people's houses that they're going to be releasing like next year, they said that is human operated for now. They're working on the tech to make it fully autonomous, and they have got target due dates. I thought the Tesla ones were autonomous. And they claim they are, but this is clearly pulling his headset off, and then he falls. And the other thing you guys need to watch is, look at the water bottle explode. How much force the hand came down with. Shoots the water. It's crazy. Because that's one of the things people struggle with these robots is, do you make the hand strong enough to do a lot of the physical labor? Because if you do, it also has the potential to interact with humans and just destroy stuff, because it's really hard to detect pressure like a human can. A human can sit there and crush bones with their hand at the same time they can pick up a little feather and not hurt it. It's really hard to do that with robotics. But anyway, moving on. Tesla's actually looking pretty good. We're knocking out at 450 right now. When I say pretty good, it's not a long for me, but it's definitely in a nice area. Like, it's showing strength. So to be clear, I buy paint on Tesla. I buy orange and yellows and whites, and I buy reversion bands, and then I rip it to the other side and then get out and wait for another rip. Haven't seen an entry since like March of 2025. We've get resistance or support in these mid-ranges and kind of watch them, but the way I mess with spot trading Tesla, I just wait for this stuff, and then I let it rip. Other guys can day trade this better, especially if you go to the H4s. Like, we get way better signals on this on the runner bots and stuff. These are too high bottoms, but you definitely got the bottom there, and it's looking like we had a recent bottom call here at $400, which would have put you up currently 10%. But anyway, we'll see. It's great. Yeah, I just don't like longing resistance, even though that was the vibe for the beginning of this stream. Maybe it walks up and out, but man, this is such a big asset. What are we going to do past 500? We'll see. Anyway, moving on, checking out NVIDIA, as we always do, since we're talking AI bots and everything else. NVIDIA kind of going sideways. The interesting thing is, though, is Trump this week revealed he was going to sell, I think it's the H200 chips to China, and then China reverse Uno'd and said they don't want to buy them. They're going to develop their own so they don't rely on NVIDIA. I don't know the full details about it, but it was kind of interesting to see them say that. Regardless, the all-time great NVIDIA, we are going to keep charting it at all times and see if we can get any of these amazing moves down into this reversion band again. That's the cheat code, remember. If you think the company's not going to die, those things print. That was 40% move, and then that bad boy, even if you caught just the bottom of that band, it's moved up like 120%, which is just insane. Anyway, other thing that's crazy, they've apparently body swapped Murad. The long hair is gone, and the glasses are gone as well. It's quite the transformation I wasn't expecting. If we look at the actual S&P 6900 chart, it's not looking great, but maybe it's bottomed, and I don't know, maybe Murad's hair is long up here and then it's short down here. I don't know. But it was actually shocking to see him cut his hair. He previously had like some of the best hair in crypto. Sorry, Dime. But moving on. Big news this week in Twitter, and as your certified Toyota nerd of crypto Twitter, Trump also signed off saying that they're going to allow the truck, or the what's it called, the Transportation Administration, whatever, to allow the importation of like the mini trucks. So people started thinking, oh my god, I'm going to get the $10,000 Toyota Hilux diesels. No, you're not. Those things are like $40,000 to $60,000. What you may get is these little tiny Hiluxes that Toyota does make. This is their famous $10,000 truck. Now, it doesn't come off the showroom floor like this at $10, and this is clearly an AI generated one because the $10,000 one does not have a solid axle. But you can, in some third world countries, they sell a base truck like this. It doesn't even have a headliner in the roof. It has no radio. It has no air conditioning. It has roll-up windows. Damn thing barely has seat belts. It's a $10,000 truck. But, and their stick shift and their diesel, whatever. The gas one that I saw that they were trying to bring in before Trump actually signed off on this was a 3-cylinder gas independent front suspension one. That being said, if I can get one with air conditioning for $15,000 brand new, and then it's a base platform to go lift it and put 32-inch tires and whatnot, I really want one. I really want one bad. If I could have a little truck like that, it'd be so friggin' cool. So I'm all for it. We'll see. Toyota in general chart has not been looking good for a very long time. Why? I suspect this is the Toyota V8 recall issue that they are still dealing with. They keep recalling the long blocks on the Toyota Tundras. Long story short, in the manufacturing that V6 turbo engine, they got rid of the V8 turbo. They got rid of the V8 naturally aspirated engines for the Toyotas, and they switched to V6 twin turbo. It is twin turbos. Great engine, great miles per gallon, great performance, great power, everything. But there was a manufacturing defect where they left metal shavings inside the actual block. And at some point when these trucks are being driven, those machine shavings dislodge and it completely grenades the entire motor. Even that type of those shavings even get into like the turbo system, the turbos themselves. Because you remember turbos run off the engine oil. So dude, they've had to replace like hundreds of thousands of engines, and then it was originally only certain years, but they keep adding the years because it's more and more effective Tundras. But I think they're finally pulling out of it. I don't know. That being said, I'm going to be a V8 Toyota Maxi. I still drive an older Gen 2 Tundra, and it's because it's my favorite Tundra. As much as I like the Gen 3s, the Gen 2 Rock Warriors are still my favorite. And I will cherish those until the day I die. Maybe these V6 end up being reliable long term. I doubt it. Just in general, if your boy needs a turbo, it needs to be in a sports car and justify the added complexity. I have no issues with miles per gallon. I want reliability and power when I'm dealing with a truck. So, especially for my use cases. Like, sometimes I'm hundreds of miles from civilization without a cell phone signal. I need the truck to start. I don't care if it got me 20 miles per gallon getting there. But moving on, maybe. This actually looks like it is breaking out of a range here. This actually does look like that's your high range, that's your low range. Break out into it, and we're walking up and out. Maybe. It actually looks pretty good. And if the target was the target, we're going back for the all-time, not all-time, but the recent all-time at 256. With a late breakout entry there, you're looking at a 26% move, which maybe is not worth your time. Now, if you guys don't know, Supercross is coming up next year. Motocross is over. World Supercross is over. World Supercross may still be going, but Motocross is over. AMA racing starts next month. That being said, Ducati is coming in. And it actually looks like Justin Barcia is going to be back on the Ducati. He was one of the first guys to sign with this new team. Ducati's never really raced since maybe the 60s. They had a dirt bike in the 60s. I don't know if they actually raced it, but like factory Ducati is coming to America, and they want to race the 450 Supercross and motocross classes, and the bike is coming, and it looks awesome. Barcia is one of the two riders they hired for the American team, but he recently got hurt and broke his collarbone. They actually say it's coming along. He may actually race Anaheim 1. So I'm super excited about this. It's cool. Why is it cool? The Italians are coming back into race, and they are very, very committed, and they didn't even start with the 250 class. They went straight to the Premier 450 class, and they said, we're coming in. And it's led by Antonio Caroli, a legendary KTM champion, former KTM champion, but the thing is he's Italian. So they've got an Italian pro, former champ, coming back, leading the team, developing the team. Like, they are doing this right, and I'm really, really excited. They actually Antonio hasn't raced in quite a few years. During the motocross season this year, they let Ducati race a stock bike, basically. I think they were allowed suspension mods, but they weren't allowed to do like much at all to the engine. The dude was running in the top. I think he got 8th place in the first race. The second race, he blew the engine up, but he was in the top 5. Like, he was about to podium this bike on a debut against like $200,000 Honda factory bike. So I'm super excited. It's going to be an amazing year next year. For those who care, it's 33 days until Anaheim. Buy your tickets. This is one of the coolest events you can ever see live. So see if it's coming to your town. Go grab some tickets and go see it. Anyway, moving on, back to Carpe Noctem. It's not a runner stream unless we look at Zcash. And to actually see Josh posting about Zcash is crazy. So I definitely posted that because how the tables have turned, Josh. Zcash, we're in it for the tech. We're in it for the tech, right? I don't know why it pumps so crazy. I don't know why Kobe's really crazy about it now. But this damn thing did a 1,400% run. So shout out to all the naysayers. I've been made fun of for 3 cycles about this damn coin. We're finally right? Dudes, it went high. When I say stuff can't hang in this band, Dude, this thing went above the bands and started printing cyan bands and just stayed. Absolutely stayed. And people kept trying to short this, and they kept shorting this, and they kept, hey, runner, when are we shorting this? What levels? It's pinks, pinks, pinks. And I said, when things are this stupid, you don't short it. You don't. And dudes, it went up. It was nuts. Two gigantic impulses, 3 actually, but this is the fade out. We finally had some fading. We had some rainbow rotations here, and it actually looks like it's going up for round 2. So if Ethereum's bottoming, Bitcoin's bottoming, Solana's bottoming, S&P is breaking out into all-time highs, and your boy Zcash, man, maybe we're going into that final stretch of this run, and everything's going to get stupid. In general, like 2017 style, like if we're talking about when Bitcoin went parabolic up to like 20K, we would see like all the altcoins doing this at some point in the past quarter. And just, we haven't seen that. Solana's been going sideways for what, damn near 2 years. And nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it's going to be fun, going to be a challenge. What do I say? I'm not touching this. It was $40-50 the other day. It went all the way up to $800. This thing very well could fully BART retrace. I'm scared to do anything with this. I don't want to long it. I don't want to short it. I just want to talk about it. Anyway, moving on. We're wrapping up the show. Thanks for all that come out. Like, comment, subscribe, retweet. Tell your friends. End on this one. This is the Bankless ad, and I absolutely love this post. This is how much the banks trust you, and it shows you the tethered pin to the desk. And I was like, damn. That's a really good one. But anyway, it's the end of the show. We're going to go hang out with the Rainbow Trends Discord with the rest of the OGs. Thanks for coming out. We'll do this again. Well, we're cutting into Christmas. I don't know if we'll be doing it the rest of the year. We'll see. But check us out in the Discord community at the top. We're going to go hang out there for the rest of the night. If you have questions, that's open mic. You can come talk. You can come show your charts. Hell, you can teach me about Nissans if you want. But we'll see you there. We'll see you later.